That was funny. Okay. Sorry, y'all. What's going on? Hold on. What's going on, y'all? Hope everybody is doing well. Can y'all hear me? Can y'all hear me? Y'all might hear this little ying, 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 ying sound in the background. My AC is on some other type of mess right now. It's on some other type of stuff. I don't know if it's because it's too hot here. I don't know, but it's gonna be on because I got to be cool. I can't do the heat. I'm sorry. But I hope everyone is having a wonderful Tuesday evening. I was not going to come forth with another chapter. I knew that I was thinking about doing one next week since I'm going to be visiting my parents, my granddad, and my uncle in Indiana this weekend. So I kind of wanted to get this on out the way now. And you know what? These chapters are so short, which is what I love. It gets straight to the point. And thank you, Roki. Thank you. But they hit. They really, really hit. And I don't know. I just felt compelled to read chapter 8 because normally I read it with you guys. But I said, let me go ahead and read chapter 8. I don't think I read this one. I don't think. And I read it again, especially after the commentary these past few days that I have given on my channel, which if you haven't seen those yet, go back. Now, the Christian Walker one is not for the faint of heart. Okay. I was in my ego. I ain't gonna hold you. I was in my ego. And I was trying to use my ego for good, but baby, the fire was burning. I kind of had to get, Christian a little bit together, baby. Hit him with that same fire, that same energy. Sometimes you gotta match energies to see if it's real, okay? And then recently with the Kim Burrell situation, which I've tried to be a little bit more liberal, a little bit more open-minded and understanding, because it's like, once again, there is pain there, there's trauma there, and it's not just her, just on a bigger scale. There's a lot of fear that is happening. Hey, speaking of Kate, what's going on? There's a lot of fear that's happening. So that's why I wanted to share this book with you, because it helps us to deal with our fear. And especially with this chapter, it read the hell out of me in the first few sentences. I was like, well, damn, okay. So it's going to talk about victim consciousness. It's going to talk about fear. It's going to talk about projecting and putting our energy outside of us as opposed to inwardly, which is what we need to do. Hey, Aries. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take another sip of water. Okay, and then we're going to jump into chapter 8. I think, how many pages is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pages. Look at God, okay? But it hits so hard, all right? So I'm going to go ahead and get a sip of water, and y'all just enjoy the vibes. I'll be right back. Okay. All right, y'all, let's get into it. This is going to be chapter 8, and the name of chapter 8 is called The Eternal Choice. Okay, the world is as you are. Y'all ready? I'm gonna let y'all know I might mess up some words, I might stutter, I might do a run-on sentence. It's okay. Just listen to what is being said. All right, don't shoot the messenger. I'm just saying. I'm just here to bring the message. All right. I said earlier that it is our continual moment by moment decision that keeps us turned away from the infinite inner light and toward the incessant problems of relative life. This bears further explanation. We do not commonly feel that we are choosing over and over throughout the day not to be enlightened. And yet, even if we have some intellectual understanding of higher consciousness, still we typically put its realization far off in space or time, never here and never now. Our initial decision was so far removed in time that infinite awareness may be only the haziest of memories, flickering rarely through us, playing with us in our dreams, dancing behind the sunbeams at the beach, or magically but briefly surfacing when we gaze into our lover's eyes. The blocks to infinite awareness can be removed by systematically undoing our previous decisions. One way to do this is by learning exactly what these decisions were. These ancient decisions have by now formed some extremely tenacious habit patterns that keep us turning away from the ascendant. So, one way to find the ultimate cause of our suffering is to look at some of the more obvious patterns that keep us in bondage. Then, by a circular reasoning, we can determine exactly what the root of all these false patterns is and thereby learn to turn from it in a permanent manner. If the root is abandoned, the manifestations of the root will surely die. In other words, it will not be necessary to struggle to change a habit pattern if the basis of the decision to continue with the habit has been eradicated from our minds. One thought that causes a great deal of trouble to many is the belief that others are in some way responsible for the way we feel. We think that we are happy or unhappy because of the way others treat us. If others seem to be taking advantage of us, then that is sufficient cause for us to be unhappy. If a specific person does something to us that displeases us, we become upset at that person. If we perceive his or her actions as a threat to our security, we may take actions against him, or we may withdraw into ourselves in an attempt to escape from him or her. There are two problems, okay, with perceiving anyone or any group as an enemy. First, the ones toward whom we turn our negative energy are not being helped to change by our response. They may, in fact, become more adamant in their offensive behavior. This is a curious but almost universal attitude of the human being. If we force them to behave as we desire, and they may do so, but they will never do so with glad hearts or willing minds. A man convinced against his will is a man on the same opinion still. All beings deeply resent being forced to do anything and will always, sooner or later, work against the desires of the dictator. Secondly, Even if we can force allegiance by our superior power or coerce a desired action by our negativity, the damage to ourselves from our action is certain. Like a ricocheting bullet, our actions fly back at us from every corner of the universe. The worst result of this is that our awareness, instead of becoming more and more universal, more and more saturated with love and light, becomes more and more restricted and bound. By perceiving enemies in our world, we begin to slice off parts of our universe, begin to label pieces of our cosmos as being in some way bad, evil, or unworthy of our love. Now, as this process continues, make sure I'm on the right page. Yes, okay. Sorry, y'all. As this process continues, our bodies begin to deteriorate. We may begin to walk stooped over, fatigued from carrying the weight of others' condemnation. Or we may distort our faces into habitual frowns or look of disdain for the woefully inferior beings that inhabit this sick world. Or we may starve ourselves to the point of anorexia, or we may bloat ourselves to the size of a blimp in silent protest to our injustices of life. Internally, the responses of this style of functioning are even more devastating, more lethal. As we condemn larger and even larger populations to death and damnation, our hearts become more and more ossified. Our health fails at ever increasing rate, resulting almost universally in an absurdly short lifespan of a pitiful handful of 70 years. Listen, there is another way. The imminence of the kingdom of heaven has been discussed and fervently believed in for thousands of years. But most have not understood or have ignored or have forgotten. Let me say that again. But most have not understood or have ignored or have forgotten the fact that the kingdom of heaven comes from within. It grows first of all in the human heart. And one of the first steps in this process is to realize that all life is a part of us. Every living being is our brother or sister. Every living being is an extension of our perfect mind. Everyone on the planet is a piece of the ascendant. Everyone reflects the infinite light. This necessarily means that everyone is equally worthy of our love. Others' actions, so horribly condemned by us when we believe that we can be hurt or victimized, begin to be seen as either expressions of love filtered through their individual nervous system, or else as cries for our help. Please demonstrate to me that you love me. Please show me that you will continue to care for me even if I fail chemistry or marry George or get fired. Please show me that you will still love me even if I hurt you. The depth of the feeling of loneliness, of isolation, of fear, combined with the extent of the feeling of victimization, will determine the depth of the negative action employed by a soul seeking proof of love in a harsh universe. In every case, it is a request for assistance. I'm drowning here on earth. Can anyone help me? You say you love me. You dare to say that you love me? Well, prove it to me. I'll be bad, so very, very bad, because no one really truly loves me. You must prove it to me. This all means that there are only two kinds of actions on earth, only two kinds of thoughts, only two kinds of feelings. Those which are based in love and those which are based in fear. Fear of being alone, fear of being lost, fear of being unloved. Ooh, Lord, I lost my quiet. There we go. Thus, any negative actions or feelings or words only deserve our compassionate understanding, never our punishment or judgment. They are cries for help, for love. Judgment is mine, says the Lord, is a statement of fact. Human beings have no business judging others. There is only one judgment, and that is that all are worthy of love and worthy of love and worthy of love. God only says one thing to the human, and that is yes. Hold on 1 second, hold on. My bad. I thought my air conditioner stopped. I was about to say no. Where am I at? Okay, I'm sorry, y'all. God only says one thing to the human, and that is yes. It is our job here to attempt to master such a depth of unconditional love. Now, listen, this may not be particularly easy to do at first. Our usual habit is to feel that the world is more or less a hostile place in which we are frequently or always victims of circumstance, people, or place. We are often prone to feel that we are being taken advantage of. We often feel that others are attempting to control or manipulate us. We often take this to the extreme and believe there are dark forces in the universe who are attempting to destroy our souls. We feel that energy flows towards us to control us or to be a victim either of other people or of Satan or of a jealous, vengeful God, or perhaps of impartial or uncaring natural law. Now, y'all, we get into this next chapter, baby. Hold on, I'm gonna take one more sip of water. Y'all listen to the vibes, okay? Because the next one, the little subsection in this chapter, is called victim consciousness. Is y'all ready or is y'all ready? All right, y'all, we moving through. Ooh-wee. Ooh-wee. So this next subchapter or section in this chapter is called victim consciousness. Y'all ready? Let's get it. We commonly feel like this, and it has a diaphragm here, a diagram. I'm sorry, I said diaphragm, diagram here, where there's a circle and it says me victim, and it has arrows pointing inwardly. So we commonly feel like this, victim, okay? Now, in this state, we feel that everyone is looking at us at all times, that we are the center stage of our universe. Now, this is, of course, literally true, but not in the way we are feeling and believing it to be in this state of victim consciousness. When enlightenment is stabilized, we know we are the center of the universe, as is everyone else, and we never feel like a victim. Our experience of others is now like this. And again, in the diagram, it shows in the circle me, light, and then it has arrows pointing outwardly. Okay. Now, this is a state of continual giving love, joy, light, not taking. See, if the light bulb is turned on, it radiates light. There is no potential to be experiencing shadows because there are no shadows anywhere that exist when we view life from this perspective. This is seeing. Why sound like Andrew Cole was seeing? This is seeing, okay? This is the most effective way to exorcise the demons from our private universe. One characteristic of victim consciousness is the tendency to believe that life is being done to you, to feel that you are not the prime mover in the universe, to feel that others have control over your feelings, your moods, and your experiences. This belief frequently results in a desire to attack first, to strike out against others before they can strike out against you. This can occur physically. A preemptive military strike is the most extreme example, but any action designed to hurt another qualifies as this kind of violence. This can also occur emotionally. Threats, pleading, anger are obvious examples. If we believe that we can be hurt by another, it is only natural for us to believe that we can, and perhaps should, attack first to save ourselves from the impending pain or destruction. The problem is that this doesn't save us from the pain. In fact, this tends to increase pain, both in ourselves and, to the extent that our opponents also feel like victims, in others. The alternative, okay, it's just an alternative, is to culture a state of consciousness in which it is impossible ever to feel betrayed, for it is impossible ever to be betrayed. If we view ourselves as bodies, then we can certainly be betrayed. We can be damaged. We can be cut, bruised, shot, torn. We can obviously damage ourselves. We can give ourselves hypertension, heart disease, cancer, the common cold. We can commit self-destruction. We can become insane. But if we are spirit, it is impossible ever to betray or be betrayed. See, we cannot be damaged. We cannot be cut, bruised, shot, torn. We are quite literally invincible, indestructible, undying. Some of us have realized this intellectually, and others of us have attempted to live this state of consciousness by believing in it, by calling it grace or salvation or enlightenment and making a mood of living it. Well, since I know logically that spirit is omnipresent, I believe that I cannot be hurt in any way. My illness must be an illusion. I will therefore will it away. Will it away, excuse me. I will therefore will it away. Unfortunately, this rarely works. This is confusing the path to the goal for the goal itself. The only immediate advantage of this shift in perspective is the understanding that there is another way to view the universe. Once this is realized, we naturally become eager to begin to develop this perception of life, for it means endless freedom, boundless joy, flawless love, as an experience, not just a belief. In the last section of this chapter is called The Pathless Path. Yeah, let me get a sip of water, y'all. Y'all enjoy the vibes. Okay. Alrighty. We is doing good, y'all. We almost 30 minutes in. Wow, this is amazing. This will be the shortest chapter I've done yet. And I'm keeping up with the comments. This don't never happen when I be doing the books. Anyway, the last part of this chapter is called The Pathless Path. What does the path to full awareness entail? First, the recognition that it is possible to be living more of life. It is not necessary to believe that it is possible to gain a permanent higher state of consciousness, but it is necessary to believe that it is possible to be better, to be happier, healthier, more energetic, more intelligent. This is not necessary to make ascension work. I mean, it will work anyway, but the belief of possibility is usually required for one to be bold enough to take the first step and begin the practice. Well begun is half done. Momentum will carry us forward after the first step, but to begin to break the past habit and belief patterns, this first step is required. We must recognize that change is not only possible, but desirable. Sincere willingness to change, also helps. Some of us like to pretend we are willing to change, but in fact are just deluding ourselves. In reality, we would much rather hold onto the familiar old boundaries, even if those boundaries are killing us, than to face the unknown future. We are so terrified of the unknown, and yet we can never be terrified of the unknown, but only of the known. And yet we can never be terrified of the unknown, but only of the known. And the known that we fear is an illusion merely. There is nothing to fear in reality, only the illusory coverings that we have imposed upon it. Ascension provides a systematic series of procedures to move our awareness from victim consciousness to enlightenment. They are discrete, mechanical steps to be practiced until they are mastered. One purpose of this short text is to provide an intellectual understanding of the steps of growth to enlightenment. The actual mechanics of the experience can only be taught through personal instruction by qualified teachers. This is true primarily because it is not possible to verify the correctness of the practice without personal feedback. You're going to always need counsel no matter where you go. Of the thousands I have personally instructed in meditation, again, this is the book I'm reading, not me, at least not yet, every single one has succeeded in moving ahead in their lives. Those who move the most dramatically are those who are the most willing to change. Effort put toward finding the time to ascend is amply rewarded. The practice is extremely easy, all but effortless, completely natural. And ascension can be practiced with the eyes opened or closed. After the short daily periods of practice, it is certainly possible to accelerate growth. Exercise can be useful. Diet can be useful. Knowledge can be useful. But all the knowledge in the universe will not serve you if you do not apply it. As I mentioned, that is why this is a short book. One more text cluttering up the shelves is a poor substitute for the direct experience of the infinite ascendant. And ladies and gentlemen, that concludes chapter 8 of Ascension, an analysis of the art of ascension as taught by the Ashayas by MSI. This is chapter 8, y'all. We is moving through. We is at chapter 9. How many pages chapter 9? Baby. Because listen, this is why I love, this is a longer chapter. I'm going to do another video on this one. Yeah. Listen, there is knowledge, information, and power out there for you right now, for you to tap into right now. And I mean right now. That's why a lot of my commentary that I try to do it from an objective place and also a spiritual place. And to also look at it from a place of truth, because truth is the only thing that is going to free us. And truth is here to help you. But of course, our egos, the victim consciousness, not feeling good enough, not feeling well enough, we have to deal with that within ourselves, because the universe, God, source, whatever you want to call it, already says that it is done, and it believes you. Whether you vibrate on a higher consciousness or frequency of love and acceptance, or if you vibrate on the lower spectrum of fear and ignorance, you're still loved in all those ways. But the universal laws are still going to do what it's going to do. So it's all about educating yourself and, most importantly, loving yourself. I'm telling y'all, self-love is the cure. It is the cheat code. It is the Game Shark code. It is the hacker version of learning to live your best life, because you take ownership of your hardware. You take ownership of your brain and of your mind. You take the time to analyze your thoughts from an objective standpoint, not just emotionally, but from a place of truth. The same thing with your emotions, because your thoughts and your emotions are the two most important things needed to manifest. And we manifest daily, whether we know it or we are unconscious about it. So I would suggest everyone to love themselves, continue to do what you do as far as growing in your self-love. And practice doesn't make perfect, y'all. It makes improvements. You're always improving. There's always room to grow. There is always more love to receive, more love to give, more love to share, more beautiful experiences. And even in the horrible experiences, even through the terrifying, jarring experiences, you have the choice to choose peace. Always. So thank y'all. That was really dope. This was a short video. I live for this, okay? Because I wasn't trying to be up here forever. I kind of been doing my thing recently with this whole live stuff, going live and stuff. Shit. See, I'm over here. I gotta say it twice because I'm putting in the work. But I hope everybody is having an amazing night. Y'all can go ahead and play this again if you need to hear some words of encouragement again. Once again, that's why I shared it with y'all, so that whenever y'all feel some type of way, y'all can always come back to this until you guys get to the point where you can remind yourself, because that's the point. I want you guys to remind yourselves. We all have to learn, but then you get to a place to where you can maintain that for yourself, and that's the beautiful thing. Like, go out into the world, live, create, manifest, do what you do. But remember, it's how you view it. It's how you view it. Speaking of, Kate says, the portion about the victim is just sticking with me. Even in situations where we attack first, we had to initially victimize ourselves to rationalize. Yeah. And we all do it. We all are going to always be learning from our past. You know, and even the best of us, sometimes we get in the ego. It's a part of the human experience. We can't escape that. We have to learn to find the sweet spot and the balance in that. And the more that we love ourselves, we'll even get into positions where we know that the ego is working. We know that the pain is working, and we can acknowledge it. A lot of people can't. They can't. But that's the level of growth. Like you start checking yourself. You start be like, okay, wait a minute, let me make sure I'm good. You get what I'm saying? And once you start, I'm telling you, like, self-love is amazing. It's amazing. And it's an ever going journey. You don't ever reach a level where you cap out. It's unlimited. It's unlimited, and it's what you make it. Oh yes, amen. You know I'm gonna put that up there. Yes, follow me on my socials, okay? Because I'm mostly on Instagram, y'all, to be honest. Facebook, that's for more like family, and I really go on Facebook. Snapchat, I don't really be on Snapchat either unless I'm seeing a few people I follow because they be blessing me with their looks and stuff. Amen. But I'm mostly on Instagram. That's where I'm the most active at. So if you want to go ahead and connect with me and see what's going on with BubzDaGawd and stuff like that, then I would suggest that you follow me on Instagram right now. So that's where I be. Hey, Megan. It's Megan. It's Megan. You came at the end, Megan. You got to get the be part of the replay gang. Yes, if you want to bless me, you can. You ain't got to, but if you feel led, okay? Because I'm getting all my blessings in every way. And again, if you guys like this song, the meditation thing in the background, I kind of altered it a little bit because I got to put BubzDaGawd, stank on it. But the name of this instrumental is SWV, Use Your Heart, and it's a meditation version. And this is like a healing frequency. Like there are different types of healing frequencies on YouTube, like um, frequencies for love, for dealing with fear, dealing with anger, illnesses in the body. Like, look, life is about what you believe and what you make, and whatever you think and you believe and put that energy into, is going to manifest. Regardless, it's going to manifest because that's where your thoughts and your energy are. So it's about what you want to do. It's your life. It's your life. Don't you forget. But yeah, I'm about to go ahead and go, y'all. I'm about to enjoy the rest of my night and get my stuff together because, like I said, I'm leaving for Indiana to visit my parents. So I swear I'm going to really, really try. I promise I'm going to do the best I can to sit down with my mom and dad and do a YouTube live for you guys in reference to them having two children who are part of the LGBT community and how they were able to just move through that and where they are now, and what advice would they give to other parents who are struggling with, once again, fear. It's all fear, y'all. But love is here. Okay, even though fear is here, so is love. Love gonna always be around, even when you think it ain't around, even when you think that you're not worthy of it, even when you feel like you've done the most darkest, heinous thing in life. Oh, guess what? Love is still there, but you gotta see it first. So yes, I hope that y'all all have a good night. And we'll be back with chapter 9. I'll probably do it when I get back into town, because then that whole weekend I'm gonna be kind of busy too. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, we're gonna find a way to work it out. All right, peace and love, everybody, and I'll see y'all again for chapter 9. Peace out.